Think about the sheer exhaustion of trying to manage what everyone else thinks of you. You know the feeling. Walking into a room and scanning faces, wondering if you're dressed right, speaking correctly, or taking up too much space. It's a low-level hum of anxiety that dictates almost every decision you make. Modern culture offers a very specific explanation for why we feel this way. It tells us that our current distress is the unavoidable echo of past trauma. If you struggle to connect with others or shrink away from judgment today, it is because a negative experience in your past wired you to react that way. The Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler entirely rejected that premise. In their book, The Courage to be Disliked, authors Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitaka Koga build on Adler's work to propose a jarring alternative. They argue that we are not determined by our past experiences. In fact, they suggest that purely internal worry doesn't actually exist. Every anxiety we feel is tethered to the shadows of other people. If our past isn't forcing us to be miserable, then that misery is serving a purpose right now. We are actively, though subconsciously, choosing unhappiness as a strategy to achieve a specific goal. To see how we manufacture these emotional strategies, consider a very common scenario: preparing for a major job interview. The applicant sits down to research the company, but a wave of anxiety washes over them. It is so intense they can't focus. They convince themselves that this fear is an external obstacle. If only the anxiety would disappear, they could prepare properly and land the job. Look at how Adler maps this out in a reversed psychological flowchart. The true goal of the applicant isn't getting the job. Their true goal is avoiding the risk of failing the interview. To achieve that, their brain actively generates the emotion of fear. That fear provides the perfect, socially acceptable excuse to bomb the interview or avoid it altogether. Negative emotions aren't random events happening to you. They are specific tools we create to avoid the possibility that other people might judge us. We go to these elaborate lengths to dodge judgment because of how we were educated. Most of us were raised in a system of reward and punishment. Do well, and an authority figure praises you. Make a mistake, and you are reprimanded. That system trains us to treat our behavior as currency. We learn to trade our actions for the approval of others, equating being liked with being a good person. Visualizing this mathematically shows why the pursuit of pleasing everyone breaks down almost immediately. Approval relies entirely on meeting another person's expectations, and those expectations are completely out of your control. You will encounter people you cannot charm, no matter how much you contort yourself. When you chase praise, you allow someone else to act as the judge of your worth. To secure their validation, you have to adapt to another person's yardstick, putting a hard stop on your own autonomy. Living your life trying to gauge what others want from you guarantees you will stay unhappy. You are trading your personal freedom for a fleeting pat on the back. This constant need for validation creates a toxic side effect. It forces you to view your entire life as a continuous competition. You can see this zero-sum mechanic clearly on a chart. If your self-worth hinges on being the smartest or most successful person in the room, every time someone else's bar rises, it automatically pushes yours down. Their victory highlights your relative failure. This transactional mindset infects our closest friendships. Imagine throwing a surprise birthday party for a close friend. You spend weeks planning it, and it goes perfectly. But months later, your birthday arrives, and that same friend does nothing. If you feel deeply offended by that, Adlerian psychology asks you to look closely at your motives. You weren't throwing the party out of pure generosity. You were essentially using your friend to extract a specific reward: gratitude and reciprocity. Imposing these covert contracts onto people breeds intense entitlement. When your friends inevitably fail to read your mind and meet those expectations, that entitlement ferments into immediate resentment, eroding the exact relationships you were trying to secure. The way out of this trap requires a complete reversal of how we connect with others. Adler suggests abandoning the pursuit of approval entirely, replacing it with contribution. This does not mean martyring yourself for the sake of others. People who break free from the approval trap help their communities because the act of making a positive impact brings them joy. They are motivated by their own fulfillment, which means they serve without demanding gratitude in return. Adler takes this further by distinguishing between what we do and who we are. While we often measure our worth by our actions, He suggests our presence alone is a form of contribution. Simply by being part of a community, you provide a point of connection for others. This means your value doesn't start once you've done enough. It is there because your presence is valuable to those around you. Once you step out of the exhausting zero-sum game of approval, other people's successes stop feeling like personal attacks. You can genuinely celebrate a friend's victory because it no longer threatens your ego. Even so, you will still run into an unavoidable reality. No matter how you live, someone, somewhere, is going to dislike you. That friction is actually a positive signal. If someone dislikes you, it means you've stopped contorting yourself to fit their expectations. You are finally exercising your own agency. The goal isn't to walk through life universally praised. True freedom requires accepting that rejection is a natural byproduct of living authentically. When you abandon the pursuit of universal approval, you gain the courage to be disliked and the freedom to live life on your own terms.